Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Well, this week we've been talking about cows and killer cows in particular, and that's taken us in all different directions, even into the subject of education. There's a news report today that I want to share with you from The Guardian, and this is from today, Friday the 20th of September, about bison. Now, we've been talking about cows and how dangerous they are, but somebody somewhere decided a few years ago that we should have bison here. And there's a picture of a bison in this newspaper. It's like a very large, it's kind of like a horse, but with horns. If you imagine a horse and a cow mating, it looks like some kind of horse cow, more like a cow than a horse, I think. But its coloring and fur, that's the hair on it, look to me more like a horse. It's not really so tall, I think, but it's big, and it's not the kind of animal you want to meet in the streets. It looks kind of nasty. So they introduced bison to the UK a few years ago, and for some reason they thought we would all live happily together. But it seems that they didn't think that the bison would do very much except look pretty, and I'm not even sure I can describe them as pretty. But they've been breeding. Oh, they've been making babies. And as a result, we now have a lot more bison than we thought. And so the government is busy building bridges. Yeah, this is the funny part of the story. Somebody somewhere in, I'm guessing the government, we'll read the story in a minute, has decided that the bison, well, it needs its own bridge to cross pathways, to cross roads. Well, maybe a bison doesn't like traffic very much, doesn't like people. It wants its privacy. So they've been building bison bridges to let these things move from one field to the other. The story is getting a little bit crazy, but no more crazy than cows killing people, I suppose. Um, so we're going to read a little bit of this story here. It says, when Europe's heaviest land mammals were introduced into Canterbury, it was hoped they would flourish and make space for other wildlife. To flourish means to get on well, to become who they want to be. And it's only a matter of time before someone declares that some of these bison are gay. I can just imagine this being a headline in the future. It says here, but the European bison have been so successful that more space will be made for them in the form of Britain's first bison bridges. Yeah, it seems that they can't house all of us at affordable prices, especially in the south part of the UK, the southern part. But here we are, making bridges for bison. Nice, isn't it? It says here, 4 bridges costing a total of 1 million are being built to allow the bison, which are classified as dangerous wild animals. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought the bison would be, happily meeting me as I tiptoe through the tulips, to cross public footpaths in the ancient woods without encountering people. The hefty grazers, hefty just means heavy, which can weigh up to a ton, will walk beneath the bridges with footpaths routed over the top, keeping visitors separate. Okay, right, so these bison bridges, It looks like they're not for the bison, they're for the people, if I'm reading this correctly. So even though they're called bison bridges, it says here footpaths routed over the top, keeping visitors separate so that they can look down on the bison. It doesn't sound good, does it? I can imagine the bison shaking the bridge saying, "Oi, I want my person to eat." Unknown to the project, one of the three female bison was pregnant and produced a calf. And this is how the whole thing started, of them deciding to make their herd bigger. They currently have 123 acres. That's apparently 50 hectares if you are using another system. I've no idea what a hectare is, okay? But 123 acres, that sounds good to me. The bridges, which are being funded by the national highways, what is that? Well, that'll be our government department that looks after the roads, I suppose. Never heard of it. Also a charity. One moment. The bridges which are being funded with national highways, a charity, the Michael Oren Foundation, the Viola Environmental Trust, Veolia, the Garfield Weston Foundation, and private donors. Oh dear, there's definitely a lot of people who have too much money roaming around the UK, it seems. It says here, bison are no more dangerous than domestic cattle. What? Domestic cattle can kill you. We've been discussing that. And the bison, my goodness me, I don't want to be on the wrong side of the bison. There's another one. Oh no, no, I don't like the look of that at all. It looks like a little bear. It says here they're very good for breaking up trees. Well, that's all right then, isn't it? It says the last wild European bison was shot dead in 1927, but reintroductions from zoos have created a resurgent population. It's not convincing me here. They're giving all kinds of reasons why bison are necessary because of what they do with trees. It says here the bison introduction will encourage similar projects across Britain. Really? Well, you mean I'll be out walking one day? There'll be a bridge with windows and I can look down on the bison. Well, I suppose it's better that than me walking on the ground and the bison looking at me from the bridge. Uh, yeah, it says here, however, conservationists warn that continuing to classify the bison as dangerous means that they have to be protected, and they also need to have high fences to keep them away from the public. So they're saying that they want the bison to mix with people, but currently here in the UK, the bison is classified as being dangerous. So they want Britain to recategorize people and animals. Well, they want to recategorize the law so that people and animals can mix together. And it says here, bison mixed with the public in other countries. We always do that, don't we, here in the UK? We always find a country where something works for a while, and then we say, oh yeah, but it works there. Britain always does that. Do you remember the smoking ban in Australia, which didn't work? And they, or was it New Zealand? I can't remember. And they got rid of it. But by that time, we had adopted it. Let's see. Bison mixed with the public in other countries, including the Netherlands. Yeah. It says here Simon Bateman Brown, head of land management, says our wildlife is in trouble. Yeah, well, so are we if you bring in bison. And we need to think differently about how we deliver conservation projects in the UK if we are to change. Oh dear, right. Let's see, it says here the Wilder Berlin Initiative is a groundbreaking proof of concept project. What does that even mean? We recognize that miles of fencing and bridges is a barrier. Barrier, yeah, to protect me, when I'm out walking. Hello? Bison are no more dangerous than domestic cattle, and in other parts of the world they roam freely. Oh, no, no. It's seeming like the bison have more rights than we have. I mean, at the moment, if I go out, for example, um, there's a fair chance that I'm going to encounter someone who's drunk, someone who's high on drugs, or someone who just is going to cause a problem for me. And now, very soon, even if I go to a field, it looks like I'll be encountering animals which could make a problem for me. So there we are. What's most interesting about this bison news report is it's on the same page, and I'm sure this isn't deliberate, but right below it, it's on the same page as a story which says Kylie Minogue beyond excited to start her biggest tour in a decade. What a thing to put next to the Bison story, Kylie Minogue. And there's a picture of her here, hanging over a microphone, which, if I wanted to compare to the picture of the bison above, I could, but I won't. But it's strange, isn't it, how newspapers choose how they give us information. One headline, the bison bridges. The Kent herd of bison will be roaming beneath public footpaths. And underneath that, they have Kylie Minogue, who's beyond excited to start her biggest tour in a decade. It's wrong to link the two stories, but it's impossible to avoid any kind of comparison because they're right next to each other. Maybe it's someone's idea of a sense of humor or some kind of joke. I don't know. But either way, well, I don't feel very happy going out and meeting a bison. Oh no, no. It's hard enough meeting cows these days, never mind bison. Well, anyway, I suppose I should stop ranting, which just means complaining, and I'll catch you all again soon. I wish you all a wonderful day. See you. Bye.